lineups. They're all set now for the juvenile fillies to 14 of them across the track. Either Saint on their way. And of the dance on the outside, broke a little sideways, broke KK, but meanwhile it's going to be stopped. But running on now, and Somali Lemonade's got 8 to make up. They come to the top of the lane, stop. Shopping Maria's got a lot left. Stop, Shopping Maria goes on. Sweet Cat is right there. Hard not to like. Royal Body is running on. Past the 8 ball, they come. Stop, Shopping Maria, full of runs still under a hand line. They come to the 16. Stephanie's Kitten coming out late. Here's Stephanie's Kitten coming fast. Stephanie's Kitten, stop, Shopping Maria. Stephanie's Kitten's watered. Watched the chances, broke smartly, but so did Terror from the Cape. On the inside, Sky Lantern, the grey going well. If he can get through, Sky Lantern, the grey looking for somewhere to run. Wide open. It's Terror from the Cape hanging on. Terror from the Cape tries to go all the way. On the outside now, here comes Flotilla in the light blue. Flotilla is absolutely flying. Watch the chances in there too. But Flotilla has gone right on by. And Flotilla is coming home to score. Flotilla has won it just about 2 in the end. It'll be Watch the Chances, Summer of Fun coming on to finish her.
Live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course. And it's clear to me it didn't rain. It rained nowhere near as much in Saratoga as it did in the Capital District. I'm telling you, folks, from about 6:30 to 7:30, it was almost raining sideways. I've rarely seen it rain that hard, that long. But up here, track is beautiful, as you saw on the network before we came on, and we being Seth, Merrow, and myself. Looks beautiful out there. You're closer to here than me, and looks very nice. You got a little breeze, still gray and overcast, but nothing like...
Seems like a crazy weather day into the evening yesterday, because, yeah, I was here, obviously, yesterday, and there was a shower and delayed post time before the 8th, and a pretty good shower, some thunder and lightning, which delayed things. But then once that cleared out, the sun came back out. So it was, a shower that was pretty good for a while. But I went down to my place down Route 50 at south end of Ballston Spa. I had to take the overland route. I couldn't turn the corner where I usually do. Big tree down, telephone pole down, and then as I tried to make my way around to the other end of the street to get up to my driveway, I was running into power company trucks and trees down all over the place. There was like a radius of a mile or so around that south end of Ballston Spa that clearly
it took 20 years, but we finally figured out how to get Seth Merrow to the pre-production meetings, and that is to leave him powerless. I came here this morning on set, and for a brief moment I thought, did we move up the Handicappers Report like a half hour, or is my watch wrong? And Seth goes, I had no power. So Seth Merrow was first on the set today, and folks, wait to Hallie's comment for the next time for that, boy. A couple things. Every other decade, they allow me to show an out-of-town race during Saratoga. I think the last time was Officers winning the best pal, which I know Officer fizzled out, but boy, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but one of the greatest 2-year-old sprint performances ever. But now we have one. I'll tell you, when you get older and you can't cut the lawn in one full swoop and you got to take time out, Seth, you cut it in segments. Well, yesterday I caught a break for that segment. We're going to show you yesterday's 6th race from Ellis Park, a mile, 2-year-olds going a mile at Ellis on August 13th, which was news to me. Now, I love the mile races. They have their own little chute to run a turn and 3/4, not quite. So here it is, Guntown with the familiar white cap in the middle there, the white blaze. This is an offspring of Gun Runner, who I think, boy, I'll tell you, folks, he could be one of the ones. So he's closest to us in the white cap, number 7. And I'll tell you, there was 4 horses, Seth, at 5-2. You see 3 of them right there. So he's in 2nd place here. Now, I will say this about that. I don't make an Excel spreadsheet for Ellis Park, but this is a 2-year-old going a mile from what I think it's safe to say is going to be a very noteworthy stallion. From the mare Funhouse, I think that's Tapiture. So we already have, what do you got, Seth? Here.
Untappable, Patio
Untappable,
Prado,
okay.
Patio Prado.
I apologize for that.
Untapped. But yeah,
so this is the
some black type
windshield
under that
people
mare.
here. This is the 2nd career start. Like I said, going a mile. I think, although we'll put up the running times here. The last 1/4 mile in a mile race for a 2-year-old in the first half of August is 24 seconds, which is usually a very good barometer. The last 1/8 of a mile in 12 seconds. Yes, Martin Garcia is getting to him now, but boy, I'll tell you, I'm watching this, and I'll tell you, I'm first asking folks, because I don't follow Ellis Park, I just thought these were 3-year-olds, Seth. I'm like, well, here's a 3-year-old. Okay, Steve Asmussen, if you're wondering, the windshield colors here. 123. I like the fact that they put up the 7 furlong splits at certain racetracks, and list levels out and wins by officially 4 1/4 lengths in the 2nd career start. You just touched on the pedigree seems to be there. Obviously, the connections are there. I didn't know they ran 2-year-olds this early at a mile on the dirt. I was saying to Seth when I got on set after him that up until, I want to say, my 30s, they used to run the Del Mar Futurity and Del Mar Debutante around 2 turns at a mile at Del Mar, which I always used to think was the first time they went that far in graded stakes action. But that's Guntown. The connections are there. A very nice, I thought, mile race. And
Gun Runner is really turning up.
Oh, boy.
Sires you have to pay attention to. With these
and I'll tell you, everyone.
And I also say that 2-year-old program at Ellis over the past few years has become very potent.
And I'll tell you, we all marveled at what Arrogate did in Dubai that night when he missed the break completely. But go back and watch it now with hindsight, obviously. That Gun Runner's performance was nails on, too. I mean, he was on the front end. I think most of them collapsed. He kept going on, got taken over. Then he obviously turned the tables on Arrogate in the Del Mar, at Del Mar that year in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And I think I think it's fair to say you're thinking distance of ground, but just, Guntown. Do with it what you will. But it's not often I see a 2-year-old at Ellis that I was like, oh my goodness. Like I said. Also, today is. I
would say hopeful, but I would think since he's down in Kentucky,
and he's only going a mile.
Yeah, and shoot for one of those 2-year-old races
well,
coming up.
The Kentucky race, right? The Iroquois now is running in September. I don't think there's going to be turf racing at the September meet at Churchill Downs, but they changed that up a couple years ago, and so now both the Iroquois and the Jockey Club are both a mile 16th, about 2 months apart. So he's going to have the mile 16th Iroquois for him next. But boy, I'll tell you, Seth, on dirt going 135 and change, very interesting to me. Also today, and we'll get to the racing, it's a great day at Saratoga, but today, out in Chicago, or more technically Arlington Heights, where I believe 2 weeks from today, we will drag, he wants to go, so I shouldn't say that, but we're going to Arlington Park, Arlington International Race Course, the family and I. After I do the show 2 weeks from today, we're going to go down and go out to Chicago because it seems like There might not be too many more days of racing. The Arlington Million renamed this year, rightfully so, for Mr. Duchossois, the Richard D. I think it's going to be run for $600,000 instead of $1 million. I don't want to touch on those parts, except I can't wait to go. I've never been. I can't wait to take Denise and young Anthony.
I'm envious.
Thank you. You know, it's funny when people that have never met my wife, my wife's a big sports person. When I said it, she's like, let's go. She's like, I'm all in. And then she saw it on TV last night, and she's like, they're not going to run here anymore? It looks beautiful. I said, well, but what I want to talk just quickly, the Arlington Million, I mean, it's been around 40 years, so it's had a run. But I was a freshman at SC when they ran it for the first time. I remember being shocked, Seth, when they announced it was going to be a turf race. At that time in 1981, turf racing really wasn't that big. Remember something in New York. The Turf Classic is a 1970s race. The Man of War is the old turf race in New York. But the Turf Classic isn't old. So Shoemaker wins on John Henry, beating the Bart, a big thing on NBC. I mean, it was great. And for a long time, the purse was so above the norm. Well, here we go. I didn't even ask the guys. This is the Bart on the inside. This is John Henry with Willie Shoemaker. Chris McCarron would ride him 3 years later. And I think when they went to the commercial set, the people at NBC, not the placing judges, basically said the wrong winner. And great history. Ptolomeo looks like to be the only 3-year-old ever to win the race. John Henry won it a couple times. Chester House won it when it was the Arlington 2 million after the 2-year hiatus. But what an idea. Used to be on NBC the Sunday of Labor Day before the football season. Estropod winning. Teleprompter winning the days after the fire. And they had the tent up. He won, making every poll a winning one. I mean, just...
I'm just pulling up the
Manila beating Theatrical in 87. What are you pulling up?
The John Henry PPs, because I remembered, and I knew he was in claiming races, and I was going to say, I remember him in a claiming race up here, but it was an allowance race up here before John Henry became John Henry. I don't think
now
you hear the name and
hold on,
may not remember the whole career.
I'm going to guess that allowance race is 1978, right?
Yes.
You know what the historical thing of that is?
I don't.
You don't? Well, you're not going to find the chart because it's not going to be there.
He had 2 races 10 days away. The 8th of August that year and the 18th of August. Ran 5th and 4th in allowance company, as I say, before he became John Henry.
Well, I'll let you know something. I believe it's the 4th place finish is the track record here.
Oh, okay.
Darby Creek Road.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Because the interesting thing about the 2 most recent 7 furlong track records is a multiple horse of the year was in the race and didn't win. Forgo was in the race. That Prove Out set the track record that Darby Creek Road broke. But what you're looking at there is Darby Creek Road on a good racetrack setting the still standing 7 furlong record with John Henry, who people forget doing the math. He's Aludar and affirmed.
Oh, well, yeah.
Believe It, Sensitive Prince, John Henry. Pretty good group, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Arlington Million this weekend, they changed. It's still the Beverly D for his wife.
Favorite in the million is going to be Chad Brown and Clark.
Favorite.
Domestic spending.
He might be one. He might be one of the. If he were to win, might be one of the lowest paying favorites. He's gonna. What's he in the morning line? You have the morning line?
6 to 5. Flavian Pratt on board.
He's going to be less than that, but we'll see. But the Arlington Million, the Beverly D, the Secretariat, they really turned it into something great. And this looks like the last one. And 2 weeks from today, I'll be flying.
Is not going to be our
It's amazing. So
Hollywood was a blow, but this is huge.
Listen, I like Suffolk Downs. I like Rockingham.
And Suffolk was close enough. I was able to get up there before that wound up. One of my trips up to Maine a few years back made a swing over to Suffolk, and I was just amazed because you think, I don't know, I was expecting maybe a dingy kind of a.
No!
Suffolk was gorgeous.
Clean and cleaned up, and nice. I cannot wait. As I said, I've never been. I can't wait to take the family we're going for 2 days, 3 days actually. So looking forward to before Anthony.
Pizza?
What?
Deep dish pizza?
We're gonna have deep dish pizza Saturday night, and then we're going to what I think most people would say is probably the most famous steakhouse in Chicago. And
there you go, Chicago steakhouse and deep dish pizza.
Yeah, and Brian said that the architectural tour museum thing is a do. Whenever we drag Anthony to these things, he always has to do something educational. So we're going to make it. But I going to Arlington Park, I cannot wait. I think we should get into 4-star Dave card.
Let me just
the
quickly,
promos.
Promos. Syndicate special today. The Syndicate's closed by now, but again, I always bring it up because the Syndicate's first come, first serve. They open on Sunday, so keep next Saturday's Syndicate in mind. Allows you to get in on a big pick ticket for a modest amount of money. So check out the website tomorrow for next week's Syndicate. Today, I will have a $100 pick 3 bankroll. I think there's still time to toss your name in the hat to potentially get on the pick 3 team for today. Down at the Racebook, there's a Play the Board contest this afternoon. Tomorrow, there's a show pool bankroll. Check out the website to try to get on that team. And tomorrow, at the Clubhouse Racebook, there's a pick 4 and a match bet.
Do you
promotion.
construct the pick 3 ticket? Is it just
Yes.
one?
Yeah. I have $100, so I spread it around a little bit.
Different pick
was,
3s?
Last week, I stuck with the same pick 3 and just had like a deep ticket and then went a little.
Okay.
And so I had 4 tickets and 3 of them hit. So it was a fun. Yeah, it was.
No golf clap there. Real clap.
I want to say for $1 it was 75.
Who's under the
so
pressure of the show parlay?
Oh yeah, no that.
People have no idea. You think it's easy? Try it. Said it before 2 weeks ago.
Said to me show
Try it.
parlay. I said that's crazy talk, but.
You ready?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Great card today. Hopefully the weather looks like it's getting better. State bred 3-year-olds on maiden special weights, 5.5 on the turf kicks us off.
7, 5, 2, and 1 for me. I went with War Smoke. Jeremiah Engelhart had a first out winner a couple of days ago.
20
up here.
Didn't get any breakage at all.
We
It
didn't
was
talk about,
exactly
we
$26.
didn't talk. Was it Lady Deny yesterday?
Yeah.
That was.
Thank you.
And I will say I jumped on it. You had it on top, but I jumped on it.
Well, wait a second. That's
Maggie was in the paddock, and she was really touting it. So at the price, I thought, I'll put a few bucks on that one. Nice looking first-time starter on.
But we have to be. I didn't have her on top.
Oh, okay.
She was.
I remember you were talking about her.
She was in my trifecta, but she wasn't on top. I was like, that was.
I just remember you talking about just a funny name stuck in my. Yeah.
You're right.
7, 5, 2, and 1 for me. War Smoke is not a first-time starter, but boy, the first starter was pretty good. Came from out of the clouds to just miss in a turf sprint. There's some siblings that are kind of win early. Again, if they win in the first, second, and third starts, there's a sibling Liar Smoker that won in the third start. KP Smoking won in the third start, and another sibling Incensed. Ran 10th in debut, but then second, first. So again, there's a little win early here. This one almost lived up to it in debut. I'll take my shot there. King Angelo in the second spot, plenty of early speed, although has had plenty of opportunities, but been knocking at the door, and that speed's dangerous. And I'll go with the firster from Brad Cox in the mix as well, Suit of Armor. They only paid $85,000 for this horse. There's a sibling called Battle Ready that took 5 to win, another sibling Forever Noah that took 5 to win, but they turned out to be pretty nice winners further in their career. So a little bit of breeding there. I have it 7, 5, 2, and 1.
I'll just touch on my third place horse, which is Dashing Circles, who's 20 to 1 on the morning line, going out for Ollie Figgins, who came up here a couple years ago with a stakes race. Jose Ortiz sees fit to ride a 20 to 1 morning line shot. I don't follow this type of thing, but you might think he could get out that. But just 3 career starts. The most recent was down at Colonial, turf first time, an offspring of the terrific stallion City Zip. So I want him in my mix. So it's 7, 5, and the 4 in the opener for me.
Race 2 at Saratoga on this Saturday afternoon. Maiden special weights racing for $100,000, going 6.5 furlongs.
3, 7, and 9 for me. Sticky issue. This is the type of horse that I like coming back second time. The debut performance was what I think is even, which I kind of like. When you debut at 4 to 1 means you're sort of being paid attention to, and your runner-up finish to Jesse Stride. I got a 77 Beyer speed figure on the Independence Day debut, an offspring of Cairo Prince. And I don't know who's going to win this meet. You know, obviously Luis Saez is in good position. But I have often talked like, and he's probably the MVP of the meet or the most, but Ricardo Santana Jr. has been fantastic at this meet. I mean, fantastic. He is not going to win the riding title, but boy, when you come up here each day, you watch the races, kudos to that young person. But Sticky Issue, he has the mount as my top pick. For second, number 7, your top pick, Asking for a Basket, Jeremiah Engelhardt, who, you know, maybe woke up the rafters, but boy, how often do you run a 93 in your third career start and you lose? And that's where you just talk about, you know, Jeremiah's horse ran great, but his win statistics aren't that good. His ROI is pretty good now, but and for third, number 9, Laughing Boy, making the second start of the career, second start since November 28th, 3, 7, and 9.
Yeah, I haven't juggled up a little bit. I just couldn't get. I'm a buyer's guy. I've said it before, and you know, if you saw that 93 coming into the last race, you could have said, is that an aberration or what? But he paired them up, so I think the number's legit. And it does have an edge on this group. But as you say, Sticky Issue, decent-looking debut with Cairo Prince on top. This horse is a candidate to win sooner rather than later. And then, Laughing Boy off the nice number in the second career start. Nice improvement there for Ken McPeak. So I'm in the same ballpark, just have them juggled up a little bit. 7, 3, 9, and 5.
Ken McPeak's barn obviously had the situation with the corn child. He had the winner yesterday. He had a winner, you know, so the barn is, you know, there's some that think, you know, that's with Skydiver, irrespective of her final running position and beating lengths, you know, trying to win the race the other day. She ran pretty good and solidly defeated.
And folks don't know, because we've referred to it, I have a few times, the quarantine situation with Peak. He was in a barn where a horse came down with that equine herpes, I think it was, or whatever. But his horses weren't affected medically, but because he was in the barn, his horses had to have special training hours and whatnot, and put them behind the 8 ball a little bit. He couldn't enter horses, so you have to keep that in mind. When
and
you
trainers like
horses.
regimen, probably horses do too. On to the third, 3-year-olds and up, open company, non-winners of one other than. Mile 16th on the inner. Remember, the rails are down.
1X, 9, 6, and 2. I thought the 8 was a little bit intriguing as well, but I went out to a tone. Mike Maker, Tyler Gaffleone. Comes in from Arlington, and because of that, I'm not quite sure how this horse is going to class up with this bunch exactly. Have been racing at Tampa and then again Arlington, but the numbers certainly match up decently with this group. So off of that, and Maker having such a good meet, I'll tilt there, but I don't think the horse is invincible by any means. Second
Hold
spot.
on. So you want no part of the other part of the turf entry from Mike Maker.
Absent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. I like it.
No, I was
early
not,
today, kicking off Mike Maker.
I was not.
You only want the 1X.
Necessarily thrilled with Absent.
Okay.
And I said it before. If I do like them, I will include the entry
it's just
up.
the one. I
But
saw the X up there. I'm
particularly
like,
when we're on top. When it's on
does
top,
not
because
want.
Cold Hard Cash in the second slot comes in really good form for Linda Rice. Second 2-back, nice win last time on the move up here to Saratoga. So I don't think you can ignore that one. And then in the third spot, I have Lonesome Fugitive, the Chad Brown runner, who I think is intriguing. You have that one on top,
Yes.
so I'll let you expound a little more. But I have it 1X, 9, 6. And
First
10.
off, I think even the group says it, that the buyer and the speed figures on the turf versus on the dirt, a little more. But how consistent is Lonesome Fugitive? It's almost impossible. He runs the same race since his debut, whether it's firm or yielding. Chad Brown's father is in the TU box today with the selections.
Oh, he's the.
So
I see him over there
he's
almost
in the
every
box
day.
today.
Yeah, good.
I suspect he picked Lonesome Fugitive on top, as I did, because it's my day to go to tussle with the TU. Congratulations to our boss, who got a win yesterday. We're treading water okay, but we'll see how it goes. But Lonesome Fugitive, to me, I think the entry is, I would have taken both parts in here, but Lonesome Fugitive to me is a consistent runner. And, you know, yes, Chad Brown won 2 of the finale races, so maybe they're not the types you associate, drop downs, etc. But the barn, you know, the juggernaut might be right in front of us here. The Mike Maker juggernaut to the Chad Brown one. But Lone to Fugitive draws a good post in here. It's going to, I think, drop over to the rail with Manny Franco. And today, hopefully, will be the day. What's this, the fifth try at this level? For a second, Cold Hard Cash going towards the outside. Linda Rice's runner, I think, will use a little bit of energy and then save ground into the first turn. I think that could be quite beneficial. Then St. Joe Louis, who takes blinkers off today, ran without blinkers in the debut at Tampa, raced well. You know, I thought the effort losing on opening day, Seth, that I was against them at 9-5, wasn't as bad. I mean, the first turn, which in the mile races, even for older horses, can be a hold-on type of moment, losing position and everything. Unfortunately, we're on the outside again, but it's a mile and 16 today. So I'm 6-9-8, and the one entry would be my fourth place. I think it's a very competitive race.
In race number 4, again, $100,000 up for grabs for maiden special weight runners. They're on the grass at a mile.
And remember, I said this the other day, Seth. Last year, they ran 4 races at a mile and 3/16, which I've always liked at Saratoga because that's the top of the stretch for people because we can't run a mile and a quarter. Last year we ran, I think, 4 times. 3 of them were stakes races. This year we're in the same kind of pattern. We've run the Derby and the Oaks at a mile and 3/16, and I think this is the 3rd race at mile and 3/16. Just a little housekeeping there. 3-2-5 for me, and Grand Motion sends out the 3 for the 3rd start of the year. 3rd start of a career, 3rd start of a year, especially the trainer in the hands of a trainer who I think is a patient, bring them along. I just need a little step forward. The average buyer par for this race is 81. I'm right there. I draw inside. Junior Alvarado got us a nice winner the other day. So I'm taking the 3 on top for second. Investment income just lost by a nose. A Chad Brown runner at 12-1 in the debut. And for third, number 5, Baby Blythe going out for Shug McGee, 3rd start of the year. I like the comeback race on the 24th of July up here, 3-2-4.
I'm right in the same ballpark.
Yes, you are.
Again, as a buyer's guy, it looks like the Grand Motion runner just has an edge, but Chad Brown's runner only has the 1 start, so I think there's some upside potential there, so it wouldn't shock me to see that one right in the mix. I thought American Heiress, the number 1 for Todd Pletcher, might be interesting. You have 8-1 on the morning line. I wouldn't be shocked if that floated up, except for the fact that it's an entry, and so folks 2 for 1 and fleeting glimpse in the debut was maybe offering a little hope, whereas the debut for American Heiress wasn't much. I just have a sneaking feeling this horse is better than that, and so I think at a price, American
Now,
Heiress
actually, the other
could
day,
be a
if you
little
thought
bit
both
intriguing.
would run, I mean, because
Yeah,
it's rare for us to have entries in United States racing, but particularly in New York, and I just it's rare these
This,
days.
I think, the game plan is for both. I mean,
Both of them
obviously
to
different jockeys, but the ownership is a little bit different.
Right.
There's shared ownership. You have 2 different trainers
Right.
too, so I think they're both
And
probably
it's
well met.
probably, you know, it's probably not the, you know, you're not getting many chances to run at this distance, as I said. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more live from Saratoga.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Up to the fifth race. Vanilla Claimers in for 16, racing 7/8.
5, 3, 6, and 9 for me. I'll put Papazar on top. Tyler Gaffleon for Mike Maker. And again, kind of a potent team here. Second off the Claim. I think probably gets back to the comfort zone. Claim for 20. They got a little ambitious and went for 25 last time. But again, I think dropping down to this 16 level, they're probably getting into a more competitive area. Win with Pride in the second slot. On occasion has a little positional early speed. It's Orlando Noda. They're also maybe making a class move that will be beneficial in here. And then Baby I'm Perfect. It is Rudy Rodriguez off the Claim. Just on that factor, you have to pay attention to this one, so I'll throw that one in the mix as well. I think it's kind of a competitive race, but I have it 5, 3, 6, and 9.
Oh, I agree. I mean, what do we have, 9 runners? I mean, it's to me wide open, which is competitive, which is nice. I'm 3, 6, 2. We share, but I mean, I thought there was like 5 that were almost the same horse here. And Win with Pride, to me, you know, I'm not the account for anybody, but you claim a horse for $8,000 in late February. You got 2 W's since then. I think it almost becomes immaterial what tag you run for at that part. I you know, unless there's some sickness and the running lines indicate there haven't been too much sickness, you're like, the math works out okay. I mean, we're 8,000 above. Forget we've won 2 races, so whatever expenses we've had. So now, coming out of 32 and 25, that just showed them they couldn't win there. And this operation wants to win races, and Irad Ortiz takes the mount here, and I suspect he wants to win races to chase down Luis Saez. So Win with Pride, to me, had a couple things on the outside of horse racing going for him, and you've seen this horse win from off the pace and run figures that it will take to win this race. Baby I'm Perfect I have for second. Rudy Rodriguez claiming this horse. And if you look down way at the bottom, Seth, and I don't know if this is a name familiar for you, but look down at the bottom where it was claimed from for Baby I'm Perfect. Happy Altar.
Oh, right.
Who probably for the last 15 years has, like, a couple of those years, I think he ran like 7 horses, for the totality. If you remember, years ago, he was a big Florida trainer guy who always wore that cap and everything, smiling and everything. But I don't see his name in the daily racing very often. But Happy Altar. But Win with Pride for me. I took the Deuce. As an outsider, very popular at the claiming box. We talked about this yesterday. Claimed back by Oscar Barrera the third. David Cohen gets him out 3-6-2 in the 5th.
And you mentioned some of the jocks chasing Luis Saez after yesterday. Saez 7 up. He's got 39. In second, Jose Ortiz with 32. Irad has 28. But Luis Saez out in Chicago, Arlington Million Day today. So everybody has a little chance to catch up.
I always say, look, we talk the riding time the jockeys do, but they're not afraid to go out of town on Arlington Million Day. I remember Jerry Bailey did. I mean, they're like, yeah, I'd like to win the title. It's nice, but I'm going to run for the purse money.
It does get in previous years that it got interesting when things were really there and Pennsylvania Derby was sitting out
Labor
there.
Day, yes.
You could sense that some jockeys were kind of, you know what, the Saratoga title is pretty nice.
Did a couple jockeys not go to the Kentucky Derby?
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
the
last
quarantine
year.
And everything?
Last year. That's exactly right. 6th race in Saratoga this afternoon. Again, $100,000 for the maiden 2-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile.
11 and 12 are the also eligibles. The 7 and the 10 in the main body have run. So once again, a predominant first-time starter. So you have 8 of them in here. My top pick is one of the 2 veterans in the group, and that is 10-9 Montauk Point. Shug McGahee, second career start. I like the debut at 7-1. That was on the first Saturday of the meet. Subsequent to that has worked out 3 times. I like all those. I'm on the outside. This Offspring of Violence costs over $500,000. For a second, number 2, Power Agenda. He's the first. I see Seth has him. He's 9 to 5 in the morning line for the potent combination of Mike Rapoli and St. Elias Stables, an offspring of Nyquist. Steady works for the debut. Irad Ortiz on board. And for third, number 9, Don't Wait Up. Anthony Dutrow sends out this offspring of Upstart who costs $200,000. But I'll take the veteran in the group, one of the 2 veterans, and what I guess was the first obvious firster. So 10 to 9.
10, 6, 2, and 8 for me. Montauk Point. When I interviewed Shug a couple of weeks ago, this horse had already won, but he mentioned this one again as maybe one of his 2-year-olds to watch. And no surprise, sibling to Kafefi, the really talented runner a couple of years ago from L&J Foxwood. So I would expect this one to benefit from the education. And yeah, really nice. And move forward. I think Mike J could be really intriguing for Jeremiah.
I saw he went for the Jeremiah first in this group.
20 to 1. Sky Mesa is kind of a under the radar sire of win early type runners. So far
I know he
this
didn't
year,
train him, but you have Mark Cassian racing across America, and he trains for Mr. Oxley. Now John Ward, I think, trained Sky Mesa, his when he won the hopeful up here, but.
He's, like I say, he's been an interesting sire over the past few years of win early type. So far this year, 17 first-time starters, a couple wins, a second and a third. But the dam has produced some win early siblings too. 2 of them, one debut, one called Silver Squall, one called Jitterbug Slim. So again, they won their first start. So I thought there was a little win early top and bottom. As they say, a couple days ago, Jeremiah won with a firster.
Yes, he did.
The workouts are not jumping off the page necessarily, but I don't know whether any of this group is kind of jumping off the page. So again, a 20 to 1 with some of that win early breeding. I'll take my pop with Mike Jane. In the third spot, Power Agenda. It's Pletcher, Rapoli, and Nyquist, a good sire of win early type runners as well. So 6, 10, 6,
and I'll
2,
tell
and
you,
8.
Jeremiah, $26 horse just exploded the last 1/8 of a mile to separate from the others in there. On to the 7th. Claimer's in for 49. What is it? 2 lifetime, a mile on the inner.
3, 4, 9, and 7 for me. I'll put assiduously on top. It's Chad Brown, it's Kolarovich. They drop in for a tag with numbers that stack up nicely with this bunch. I think just match with some of the other better horses in here. I don't think on the numbers this horse is a standout, but when you get this kind of matches up nicely, plus the class relief, I think that can move the horse forward. So we'll go in that direction. It's a really similar scenario with Restored Order. Pletcher, Rapoli and company moving in for the tag. Goes back to the turf. I think the 2 turf races, 2 and 3 starts back, are clearly the better races on the resume. So I'm going to draw a line through the off the turfer last time. So back to turf, in for the tag with the class relief and public information. Claim 2 back, 1 on the claim in the claimed race. Then they tried a salty starter allowance. The horse was just maybe a little overmatched there. I think dropping into this 40 N2L, a more proper condition, will get a bounce back to some a better performance. So public information in the mix. 3, 4, 9, and 7.
I have the 3, 4, same thing. The 3 and the 4 running for a tag for the first time in here. I think the race goes through those 2 runners, and I just took assiduously on top. A pattern for me, Seth, that I like, which was returns to the races off an October layoff in June. So, doing the math quickly, that's an 8-month layoff and 8 months and a couple days. Ran well in the comeback race, little muscle regression or bio regression, whatever you want to call it. And now I get to move forward. They drop into 40. Your first thought might be, well, why are you in for a tag at all? I thought the 2 efforts, non-winners, are 1, but Chad Brown's going to Hall of Fame. I'm not. Restored Order. I'm throwing out the slop effort. You look at the 2 turf races is right there, maybe even a nudge ahead of my top pick. And for third, Jimmy Bond takes on winners for the first time for his runner from the inside, 3, 4, 1.
Yeah, assiduously, it's Kolarovich and Chad Brown moving in for the tag. It's the second half of the year. They have some expensive 2-year-olds.
They got to move in.
Use a stall.
Yeah.
And
we were saying that, yesterday, Brian and I, winning races and all is fine, but in Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher's case, it's like sometimes it's about space.
Yeah, absolutely. 8th race this afternoon. Non-winners have won other than $103,000. 7 furlongs is the distance.
We cannot agree here because I'm 4-1-5. I think most people would say if you're playing horizontals, the race goes between the 1 and the 5, and I would agree with those people that clearly my speaker's corner for Bill Mott has to step way up in the third career start, first start of the year, lost on debut at odds on. How many 2-year-olds are odds on for Bill Mott? Odds on. First off, rarely are debut runners odds on. I mean, I keep a little stat of those type. I said that, remember when Gamine debuted? Now, she wasn't a juvenile, but I could never recall a debut runner being 1-9.
Oh.
Never. Like I hope somebody goes to Capital OTV Mail if there's ever been another one. But the race goes between the 1 and the 5. There's no doubt. They are lengths. So to me, it was like, who else would I want? Well, Speaker's Corner taking on winners for the first time, making the seasonal start, getting Lasix today. It's just the flyer that I'm taking. You put Will Sing for Wine in third because, the race goes between the 1 and the 5. I would say, and I've heard people talk about this, in the horizontals, I don't know, you have to think you have 90% of the race sewn up if you take the 1, the 5, and you move on, that type of thinking. But I'm a trifecta player, so I'm 4-1-5.
1, 5, 7, and 6 for me. Mahamel. Just on the numbers, this horse probably has a little bit of an edge. Bo Liam, who won last time, and this one finished third. That was a pretty big performance. So, and it was the first try at this level. Sometimes they'll take a start or two to figure out the next level up. So I'll tilt there.
And one quick thing: last Saturday, there was a winner out of that Bo Liam.
Yeah, that was a good
race coming out, came and looked okay at Saratoga. So
that was a big performance there. 5 underneath. These two are kind of interchangeable to me. Off the race last time, this one is right up there with my top pick. So as I say, I could have gone either way here. I just tilted.
I don't know how you separate them.
One. Yeah, and then Will Sing for Wine. Big closing effort last time, but last time was in December. And that was a pretty solid number. And there are numbers underneath that says that's not necessarily an aberration because, again, it was a lifetime best. So if this horse comes back now as maybe a little bit of a more mature 4-year-old, I wouldn't be shocked to see that one be an interesting player in here. But fitness is going to be the question mark. In the 8th, 1, 5, 7, and 6.
Take a quick break. When we come back, stakes action from Saratoga.
Welcome to the West. I'm Scott Varley at Saratoga's latest and greatest high-rise luxury condo. Starting in the mid-5s, every condo here has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and upgrades just like this. Check out these oversized private balconies. We also have a gym, a private lounge, and get this, a heated parking garage. To make a reservation for your private condo at the West, call or text me. I'm Scott Varley at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Come on!
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Handicapper Sport alongside Seth Merrow. I'm Anthony Mormino, up to the 9th race here. A couple things touch on. This is a Saratoga special. You get him?
I had to go for it. I did not get him. But
all right, so he'll be back with vengeance now and his friends. At 6.5 furlongs, a couple things just want to say here. First off, if it ever gets put up on YouTube, the head-on of the 1993 Saratoga special with the hair, when the Saratoga special used to be the first juvenile race that switched up now to Sanford for a generation. Another thing, 12 runners in here, Seth. My data goes back, I want to say 76, 77 on the Saratoga special. There's never been this many. Secondly, since Conquistador Cielo in the summer of 1981 was the 4th pick and paid $18 to win this race, since then, there's only been one horse out of the top 3 wagered on horses to win this race.
Oh, that's interesting.
Corvu was the 4th wagering selection a couple years ago. But other than that, now we've never had 12 that I can think of in my lifetime. But favorites, second choices, there's never been a rank outsider, which is rare. I mean, I keep lots of stakes races. I mean, but to see that since 1981, there's only been one horse out of the top 3. And I bring that up because I think today is the day.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm hoping.
Well,
I'm hoping the trend continues.
Four runners have run once, which is really the norm that we've got to. The fact that 8 of the 12 have multiple races coming in, I think is terrific. But and I think other thing, the last horse, City Zip was making his 7th start when he won this race.
He won all 3.
He won all 3.
Yeah,
and when he won the Sanford, he's like the only runner who had started at least 5 times in 40, 50 years that won the Sanford.
And field size plays into that whole schedule.
Sure.
Because there was a time when they ran it all 3. Now that's not the case. And so this being the middle, if you have a talented 2-year-old, you're thinking, I'll start the season, I'll end the season in the hopeful, and they'll skip this typically. But
12 today.
They'll jump in here and head down to Belmont or down to Churchill for their next start, probably out of this race. But I have a 2, 6, 8, and 1. I put Gunite on top. We talked about Gun Runner and Steve Asmussen and Winchell looking at that horse at the top of the show at Ellis. And this one took a little time to figure it out, but nice improvement start 1 to start 2. Very nice improvement start 2 to start 3. I think did it in a fashion that says this will be very intriguing in the 4th career start. Now with that nice foundation, stretching to the 6.5. I think Gunite is intriguing today, and I'll keep my fingers crossed.
So you think he's going to be one of the top 3 because you want the trend to continue? So you believe he'll be a top 3 wagering choice? So
what were you saying? I was just looking at him as a price as compared to the favorite. You were saying that they're out. That the
I think today it stops at one of the 4th or more. Shots
then
wins.
I guess I hope it. Yeah,
because I think Gunite could be the 2nd or 3rd choice in here.
Yeah.
So I think he keeps the ball rolling.
But I was looking at it as not.
I'm not positive Dr. Jeff is going to be the favorite. Are you?
No, I'm not. I am absolutely not either. And as I say, I'll keep my fingers crossed on that 5-1 on Gunite because I think bettors are clever, and I think Gun Runner is now making a name for himself.
I think the 6 and 7
when Steve Asmussen is.
Yeah, and I had to show the dopey race at the top, but the 6 and 7 are getting bet here, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And I have the 6 underneath Stolen Base coming out of the maiden special. Do note, if you see that R on the PP, some people may not yet be used to that. Those are the races that came up starting, 2 years ago?
And a shout out to our friend Brian Addo. That's what he wanted in here when you come out of those races that you ran for a maiden special weight. That $45,000 RNA was the maximum. He got the R.
Yeah, you should. There should be a note.
Oh no, he wants the R. He wants the R in the past performances out there because I told him they had the R for the PPs. He wants it when up on top.
He's exactly right, actually.
Yeah,
but again, do note that it was against those limited.
No $500,000 horses in it. And no 7-figure horses.
But he did it in a fine fashion. I think says he's going to fit in here. And then Dr. Jeff in the 3rd spot. Big win. Solid number for a 2-year-old that time of year. But do note it was an off-the-turf race. But that bullet workout last week certainly jumps off the page a little bit too. Nakatomi, I think, for Wesley Ward. The dirt race at Keeneland was pretty good. Then they, as Wesley Ward will do, popped over to Ascot and ran 8th in a big field. Now gets back to the dirt. And again, with that first race being at the 4.5 and there's no buyer, this one may get overlooked a little bit. But I think this horse could be. I'm not thrilled with the 1 hole necessarily for lightly raced horses like that, but Nakatomi's interesting. 2, 6, 8, and 1 for me.
I'll be interested in how the wagering goes very much. Chantal Sutherland, see if she comes in for the ride on the 4, who is actually shortening up to the Saratoga Special after a victory at
She was
Gulfstream
at the
Park.
sales the other night, so I'm
So
assuming she's sticking around.
I would think so too. Shorting up after winning at 7 furlongs and an off the turfer at odds on. I think it's Gunite. I was at first thinking that the 8, 6, 7 would be the top 3 bet horses, but I'm not so sure. I think it might be 8, 6, 2 are the top 3, but we'll see. I like Gunite in this spot. Do you still have to get permission from the stewards to add blinkers after a victory?
That's a good question.
I think you used to have to get permission to alter something off of a win, but Gunite's adding blinkers in the 4th career start. Ricardo Santana aboard it. He was aboard the win for a second. Number 7, Double Thunder for me, making the 3rd career start. Certainly has to run faster this afternoon. Dance Code is my outsider, and Stolen Base is certainly for a very nice edition of the Saratoga Special, which you can look it up historically. I'm not going to get into it. It used to have very unique rules to the purse, which is why it's called the Saratoga Special. I think it was a winner take all.
Oh.
I think. Yeah, I'm not getting into it because we had a grade 1.
That is special. The 10th race, the grade 1 4-star Dave, a mile on the turf. Coming up top of the hour, we'll have Mark Cassian. We'll talk a little Got Stormy. She won the race 2 years ago off the week layoff and came back and ran really well last year to run second behind the Loose on the Lead Halliday. We'll also have Tyler Gaffleone. We taped an interview with him, so he'll talk a little bit about riding her as well. But she's going to be intriguing. Fun field in here. 4-star Dave, grade 1, mile on the turf.
Nearly 38% of the field are distaffers. I think 6 can win it. Who do you have? You have the same exacta. It's not right. I listen. Raging Bull, Casa Creed, Set Piece, Got Stormy. She remembers where she is. Field Pass, Blowout. The 2 and the 3 would be the only surprises for me, and I'm not so sure I would be right by being surprised by them. I will say, Whisper Not, the 2 coming in from California. What I will say was, I'm not so sure how strong that Shoemaker Mile grade 1 was, so his off the board finish is even lowered a little bit for me, but he might be in an enviable position as they're running around the racetrack, although I think he will get gobbled up. Daddy is a legend, certainly has races before that puts her right here. Now, it was a different decade, so, but Set Piece, it was a toss-up between my top 3. I'm supposed to go for Casa Creed because he's the longest price. Won the Hall of Fame up here a couple years ago when that was run at a mile. Comes out of a brilliant performance in the Jaipur, which is at 6. It's going to be tough, but a Set Piece at the end of the day. The Judd Brad Cox coming out of 3 consecutive stakes victories in a row at Churchill Downs. Most recently, the Wise Dan, which I suspect used to be the old Firecracker.
Yes.
That's got to be the Firecracker race, although that used to be a mile too. Full on Giroux comes into town for the ride. Raging Bull from the inside is the horse to beat in here, but I think 6 are live. I think it's going to be a terrific renewal.
Yeah, I have it 1, 5, 6, and 4. The Maker's Mark Mile was just so impressive, and then last time it came up a little bit short in the poker, but again, I'm going to that race 2 back and just look to get there in the 3rd start of the season. Set Piece is in really good form. Got Stormy last year came out of a 94 buyer and improved nicely to go to a 103 buyer in this race. Comes in maybe a similar kind of a pattern this year. And then I have Casa Creed down the 4th spot. And off of that Jaipur, always like to root for Lee Einseidler, and so off of the
Must
Jaipur.
be a big show when a Hall of Famer peeks in to make sure that they're going.
In the green room. So Casa Creed intriguing as well. But in the 4-star Dave, 1, 5, 6, and 4.
All right, we'll go through your 11th rather quickly, Seth. State Breds, non-winners of one other than 5.5.
4, 9, 2, and 11. I'll put Dr. Blute on top, getting back to the turf off of an off-the-turf for the last time, but I think the horse seems to be kind of primed in here to run well. Dr. Duke will do the Doc Zacta in here. Dr. Blute over Dr. Duke. Another one coming out of the off-the-turfer last time, and I think getting back to the dirt is dangerous. And Merrow in the third spot off a maiden breaker. Took a while to do it, but maybe signals that this horse just figured it out. Light bulb moment last time. 4-9, 2-11.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're in the same neighborhood. 9-10-4. We take a quick break here from our good friends at DePaula.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a three-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
The Capital Region has some of the most sophisticated horse racing fans in the country. That's why Capital OTB built the Clubhouse Racebook. Here you can wager year-round on the best horse racing from around the world. The Clubhouse also has monthly promotions including live bankrolls, handicapping contests, and so much more. Like sports? Watch your favorite teams on more than 30 screens in Legends Field Sports Grill. Food, sports, and the excitement of championship horse racing. Only at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience to be fair and easy. Family owned since 1980, DePaula means quality and convenience, along with concerned and certified technicians. So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs. At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience to be fair and easy. Over $2 million in original factory parts means you receive the very best for any make or model. So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs.
It's post time for today's DePaula Play of the Day.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. It is time for the DePaula Play of the Day. That means a visit from our friend Steve Bick. Steve, good morning.
Alex, how you doing? Good morning.
Very good. Happy to have you on board to talk a little DePaula Play of the Day, and you will be taking a look at some stakes action. Race number 9, the Saratoga Special. What do you have for us?
Well, I ended up landing on something in here that I didn't necessarily expect to, and it's the 6. Mike Maker, Stolen Base. You know, the first out winner in one of those, $45,000, limited purchase price provision races, and so you don't necessarily know what this Bodemeister beat in the debut, but visually he got a tremendous education. I think he took a right-handed stick, he took a left-handed stick, he basically was under wraps coming home, has subsequently seemingly worked well for this spot, and you get 8-1 here on Stolen Base. Maker and company have done very little wrong at this meet, and although this is not necessarily his wheelhouse, I thought that this was a horse to key in a fairly mysterious edition of the Saratoga Special. I mean, there's the obvious players, Pletcher and Rudy Rodriguez and Steve Asmussen, Lee Einsiedler's horse, High Oak, gives him a potential to maybe, sweep the stakes double with Casa Creed and the 4-star Dave. But at 8-1, this is my kind of DePaula Play of the Day. A horse that I think can adjust to the pace and finish. And not to take away from Tyler Gaffleone, but I think you get just a little bit of a jock upgrade as well with Jose Ortiz getting on board. So let's try to steal one here at a price in the Saratoga Special, the DePaula Play of the Day.
I like it. 8-1 on the morning line. Steve, appreciate it. Got to wrap it up, but obviously we will see you tomorrow morning for some loose on the lead.
Caribbean country.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, he stays, I go. Have a great Saturday at the spa.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.